looks nice today, although on a different note, for some reason there's been a lot of news over the past day or so where there's been a lot of murders around the area. Bodies and so forth showing up in beaches. Who knows what's going on, huh? And with that in mind, what did I read today? I think that was kind of interesting. Imagine here, a drone crashing into a condo and then the operator is getting suspended. At first, I know a lot of people would say, okay, who flew this there? It's a commercial operation. This one says, drone crash at One North condo, sensors malfunction, operator suspended. A commercial unmanned aircraft operator has been suspended after a drone crashed at a condominium in Buena Vista on July 19th. Responding to media queries on July 23rd, the Civil Aviation Authority of Singapore said that H3 Dynamics Holding Pte Ltd was carrying out a series of UA flights using the Hexadrone TUNDRA 2 drone when the incident occurred at the One North residence located at 71 North Gateway. The operator had flown the drone at the One North drone estate over the Pixel building at 10 Central Exchange Green as they had intended to develop a command control station for the drone. It then reportedly flew outside of its approved activity area on the 8th flight and crashed on the grounds of One North residence at around 6 p.m. according to CAAS. And there was pictures of the crash itself. It says a mothership reader said there were children playing in the area when the drone crashed. No injuries were reported. So what happened? According to this, it says drone sensor malfunctioned, operator suspended. Early investigation revealed that the drone's positioning sensors had malfunctioned, causing it to deviate from its planned flight. Following the incident, CAAS has suspended all of the operator's UA operations and the use of the Hexadrone TUNDRA 2 drones in Singapore. So that would kind of imply, actually, because of this malfunction, they would want to prevent anyone from using it in general, but they do say here this was the only registered drone of this type, which is kind of interesting. It says the CAAS has urged those with UA permits to review their safety procedures and processes. Investigations are ongoing. And that's interesting too, because as you know, a lot of people say it's the recreational flyers, the toys you have to worry about. But in so many of these stories that you read, it's usually officials or commercial operations with all these crashes. I said before too, ironically, by the time you have all these regulations and stuff put out, people use the narrative of you need this out there now to prevent any accidents 100% and all that. But ironically, all these accidents and devastations will probably happen once all this stuff is, let's just say, put out there. And sure enough, that is the case. I still find it weird personally where there are legitimately people who say put them out there now, like over the top regulations, as it will reduce accidents by 100%. I'm like, what planet are you living in? That can't be the case in any industry when you think about it. You have to find ways to deal when there's situations like this that happen. And in regards to aviation related incidents, as you know, the company Boeing has been in the news a lot. It just seems like a lot of their hardware has been malfunctioning and all that. So it makes me wonder, for this piece of news, is this a good or a bad thing, I guess, for various countries? This one says, Boeing and Ukrainian aircraft manufacturer Antonov signed a memorandum of cooperation in the drone maintenance field. The American Boeing Corporation and Ukraine's Antonov company have signed an early agreement that will facilitate cooperation in the field of unmanned systems maintenance. The memorandum could pave the way for two plane makers to work together on unmanned systems to support Ukraine's defense industry. In particular, the cooperation opens up the possibility for Antonov to receive engineering support from Boeing. The Memorandum of Understanding lists training, logistics support, and maintenance of drones like Boeing's Scan Eagle as potential areas for collaboration. Antonov CEO Yevhen Harvilov said today's agreement could help enable the continued development of Ukraine's defense industry, adding that the company was extremely excited to work with Boeing. And again, it makes you wonder, is this actually a good thing with all the negative news towards the company Boeing in the past couple of years and all that? Will you start to see drones just magically falling out of the sky and stuff as well? And this was kind of interesting, I read today. It dealt with the Olympics, and usually when you think of the Olympics, you think of things like physical sports, for example. But how about things like esports? Usually when people hear the two mixed together, they're like, oh, what is this? Playing video games? That's not a real sport. Well, how about this? This one says, IOC enters a new era with the creation of Olympic esports games. First games in 2025 in Saudi Arabia. History was made today when the International Olympic Committee decided to create Olympic Esport Games. The first edition will be held in 2025 in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. The 142nd IOC session in Paris endorsed the proposal by the IOC Executive Board unanimously.
And I want there to put for your vote to approve the creation of Olympic Esports Games in the framework of the proposal provided to you by the IOC Executive Board. With your vote, you have created the Olympic Esports Games. Congratulations and thank you very much.
And they go on to say the esports community represented in our Esports Commission has enthusiastically engaged with this initiative. This is further proof of the attractivity of the Olympic brand and the value it stands for among young people. One thing I'm thinking about though in terms of this is how you choose what types of games to actually play, because in a lot of competitive games actually there's so much randomness and luck that's involved versus, for example, a game that's kind of like, let's just say chess. It depends on your personal moves, whether or not you can psych the opponent out. But again, there's a lot of games actually where it's a roll of the dice that really dictates who's gonna win and who doesn't. It'll be interesting to see how the average person reacts to something like this. All right, see you guys later.